कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. नमः सर्वेभ्यः. जय श्री कृष्ण. We were discussing about the second chapter, Sankhya Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. Sri Krishna is telling about the bad effects of anger. One supposed to strive hard to attain the peace. Only through knowledge one can get it. One supposed to understand the Kama and Krodha, both are the enemies, and he discussed about the bad effects of anger. So one supposed to consider these both are the enemies, and he need to strive hard to attain the peace. Once prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate prasanna chetaso hyashu buddhihi paryavatishthate. Likely Sri Krishna insists to attain the mental peace. Nasti buddhirayuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantihi ashantasya kutas sukham. Sri Krishna insists one supposed to attain the mental peace. Without peace there will not be any happiness. In this shloka Sri Krishna explains ayuktasya buddhihi nasti ayuktasya cha bhavana nasti abhavayataha cha shantihi nasti ashantasya sukham kutaha. So for one who is not disciplined, it is mental discipline, one supposed to be disciplined, considering all the things here in this world are impermanent. One supposed to focus on the Supreme Being. To gain the knowledge through the self-realization, one can reach the happiness. That is the extreme ecstasy. So to gain such knowledge, one need to attain the peace. So one who is disciplined, who is keep on doing the abhyasa, he will get the perfection, because practice makes man perfect. Likely for one nasti buddhihi ayuktasya, for one who is not disciplined, there is neither steadfast knowledge nor meditation. For one who lacks meditation, nacha abhavayataha shantihi, there is no peace. One who is lacking of meditation, there will be no peace. For one who is there without peace, ashantasya kutas sukham, how can there be happiness? There will not be happiness. So one supposed to be disciplined, whichever he is dealing with. He need to follow the neutrality, equanimity in his mind. And he says, Indriyanam hi charatam yanmanonu vidhiyate tadasya harati prajnam vayurnavamivambhasi. Charatam indriyanam hi yat manaha anuvidhiyate tat asya prajnam ambhasi harati vayuhu navam iva. Sri Krishna says one supposed to control his all the sense organs, and one supposed to control his mind. So it is important we should not let our fickle mind to go behind all the sense organs, because sense organs are always attracted by the worldly objects. So the sense objects outside always attracting the sense organs. So if sense organs are keeping connection with all the worldly objects, it will start getting the pleasure. It will get addicted to it. So that is the what we said, the root cause of pleasure and pain. So here mind supposed to be controlled. We should not let our mind to go behind all these sensual pleasures, sense organs. That's why Indriyanam hi charatam yan manaha anuvidhiyate. One supposed to control all the senses, and his mind supposed to focus to gain the knowledge. But just as a strong wind, tadasya harati prajnam vayurnava mibhambasi, is not, neither control his mind nor control all the sense organs. There will not be any discipline. Just as a strong wind sweeps a boat off its chartered course on the water, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can lead the intellect astray. What happens? Anuvidhiyate. If our mind is not controlled, it is letting all the sense organs to go behind the worldly objects, that person will never attain the knowledge. He will never attain the peace or perfection. A small boat, when it goes on the water, suddenly a strong wind blows, then what happens? The boat gets off. It gets upside down on the water. But the person who is there inside, the driver, and he keeps all the control, and he somehow manages, in spite of the strong wind blowing there, he manages and takes the ship to the bank. Likely the controller must be there. Likely our controller of all our sense organs, we need to control. We need to control our mind too. But indriyanam vicharatam, if we allow our mind to go behind these sense organs, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can lead the intellect astray. It completely destroys the knowledge. Tadasya prajnam harati, it completely carries away. It kills our intelligence. So we need to control our sense organs, we need to control our mind, we need to focus on the perfection, we need to attain the knowledge. Tasmadyasya mahabaho nigrihitani sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyah tasya prajna pratisthita. Tasmat, he mahabaho, yasya indriyani indriya arthebhyah sarvashaha nigrihitani tasya prajna pratisthita. Whose knowledge is completely steady and stable, means the person who completely removes all his sense organs from the connection with the sense objects. So the one who has restrained the senses from their objects, one should not let the sense to get connection with the worldly objects. One who has restrained the sense from the sense object, his knowledge is stable. Hey Arjuna, he is firmly established in transcendental knowledge. Yasya nigrihitani sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyah sarvashaha nigrihitani. Indriyani, what are the indriyani? Jnanendriyani ghana rasana chakshustak shrotrani. Jnanendriyani indriyarthebhyah sarvashaha nigrihitani, completely restrained from the objects. His knowledge is ever established. He is firmly established. He is firmly established in the transcendental knowledge. Yanisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato munehe. Ya sarva bhutanam nisha tasyam samyami jagarti yasyam bhutani jagrati sa pashyataha munehe nisha. This shloka beautifully Sri Krishna explains. The sage, the Muni, who is awakened, he is always alert. His knowledge is vast. What is the capability of the Muni? This shloka says, what all beings consider as they is the night of ignorance for the wise. Usually the darkness, here darkness is considered as the ignorance, compared with the ignorance. That's why tamasoma jyotirgamaya, tamasaha ma jyotirgamaya, from the darkness lead me towards the brightness here. Just taking a person from the darkness to the brightness, all can do. But from the ignorance of the darkness of the ignorance, through knowledge only one can come from the darkness of the ignorance towards the wisdom of the brightness. That's why he says, a sage, what all beings consider as a day is the night of ignorance for the wise. Ya nisha means ratri. Sarvabhutanam nisha, the night for all the creatures. Tasyam samyami jagarti. Yasyam bhutani jagrati. Sa pashyataha munehe nisha. So, what all beings consider as day is the night of ignorance for the wise, and what all creatures see as night is the day for the introspective sage. The sage is always awakened and he looks through his wisdom. He understands everything. Though the normal people, though they are looking at the object that is not out of their wisdom, they just seeing the thing, that's all. But a wise, a sage, who is always awakened through his intelligence, he looks us, understanding all these sense objects are impermanent, perishable. So he focuses in the knowledge to reach the perfection. That is the Supreme Being. Apuryamana achala pratishtham samudramapah pravishanti advat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti nakamakami. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudram yadvat apaha pravishanti tadvat yam sarve kamaha pravishanti saha shanti mapnoti kamakami na. This shloka very simple. We can easily understand. Sri Krishna explains who will get the right knowledge, who will attain the peace. One small example Sri Krishna says, Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudram apaha pravishanti yadvat. We know all the river waters coming and merging into the ocean. Though the river water, it may begin from the peak of the mountain and slowly come down to the land from the mountain, and many branches be there that will join with the flow of the water. At last that reaches the ocean. This is what we know. Just as the ocean remains undisturbed by the incessant flow of water, many river water are coming and merging into the river in the ocean, yet the ocean is undisturbed. It remains undisturbed by the incessant flow of waters from the rivers merging into it. What we need to know? Nothing can disturb us. We need to always have the knowledge. Through our wisdom we need to see the thing, and in between whichever the two pairs of opposites, that should not disturb us. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Raga, Dvesha, all these things should not disturb us. See how the ocean remain calm, undisturbed by the many river water which are merging into it. The ocean remain calm, it remain undisturbed. Likewise, the sage who is unmoved despite the flow of desirable objects all around him. Tadvat kama yam pravishanti sarve. May all the desirable objects around there for a person, for a sage who is wise, who is a learned and knowledgeable person, may all the desirable objects in front of him, which are very attractive, which gives the temptation, but the wise person never get any kind of disturbance. He remains calm. The sage who is unmoved. Unmoved means undisturbed. Despite the flow of desirable object all around him, such sage attains the peace. So, not kamakami. Kamakami means who is kamanam kami, the desirer, and not the person who strives to satisfy the desires. He will never get the satisfaction, contentment, because he always seeking pleasures. He always looking pleasures from the desirable objects around him. Only the sage can understand the fact, the reality, that all the desirable objects outside, that will never bring the happiness, permanent happiness to me. The permanent happiness only the God alone can give. That moksha alone can give to me. That is the Paramanandam, that is the extreme ecstasy. So one must understand the reality, and he needs to act like a sage who remains undisturbed in spite of all the desirable objects which are tempting him, which are attracting him. Yet the sage remains undisturbed. Only he can attain the peace, not the kamakami who is always seeking for the pleasures, always having much desires, keeping connection with the worldly objects and keep on enjoying the pleasures. This person will never attain any peace. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan pumamscharati nisprihaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashantim adhigacchati. Yaha puman sarvan kaman vihaya nisprihaha nirmamaha nirahankaraha bhutva charati saha shantim adhigacchati. Sri Krishna says one must give up all the desires, give up his arrogance, give up the ego, give up the sense of mind. Only that person can attain the peace. So, vihaya kaman, yaha puman, the man, the person, one who sarvan kaman vihaya nisprahaha nirmamaha nirahankaraha, one who abandons sarvan kaman, all the desires, then moves about free from longing. So, longing on all the objects, finding the pleasures from the worldly objects, that is impermanent, that is useless. So, longing on other things is not recommendable. The person who gives up everything, who abandons all the desires, moves about free from longing, and nisprihaha nirmamaha, without the sense of mind, and nirahankaraha, without ahankara, without egoism. One who goes in this way, free from nirahankaraha, nirmamaha, nisprihaha, so free from all desires, free from longing on all the objects, free from the sense of doership, the sense of mindness, and nirahankaraha, free from egoism. Only that person can attain the peace, not others. So you need to give up your arrogance, your ego, your desire, your sense of doership. If you give up everything, give up all your desires, then you will attain the peace. So Sri Krishna says, Esha Brahmi Sthitif Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. Stitva syamanta kalepi Brahma nirvana mrichati. He Partha, Esha Brahmi sthitihi, ever established in the Brahman. Enam prapya na vimuhyati antakale api asyam stitva Brahma nirvanam mrichati. You will attain the Brahma nirvana even at the time of the death. So you see, Esha Brahmi sthiti, this is the state of being established in Brahman. Always free from everything, free from ego, free from sense of doership, free from raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, free from the desires, free from the mamata, ahankaram. Then you will attain the peace. So this condition, and this is the state of being Brahmi sthitihi, established in the Brahman. Enam prapya, having attained the state of Brahma, then the consciousness, one is never again deluded, na vimuhyati. He will never get confusion. Once if you obtain such consciousness, you will never you will get confusion in the things, in the worldly things. You will know the reality. Then stitva asyam, being firmly established in this Brahman, in this consciousness, then even at the time of the death, Brahma nirvanam richati, Brahmanaha nirvanam, one attains the Brahma nirvana. We need to stand firm in gaining the knowledge, in practicing it, seeking instead of the pleasures, the worldly pleasures, one supposed to seek the truth. One supposed to seek the Paramanandam, that is the God, who is in the akara of the supreme knowledge, supreme bliss, supreme truth. And iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayaha. So at this the second chapter ends. Thus ends the second chapter named Sankhya Yoga, or the Yoga of the knowledge. In the Upanishad of the divine Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of the absolute, the yogic scripture, and the debate between Arjuna and Lord Krishna. So Sri Krishna explained about the yoga of knowledge to Arjuna, and he made him to understand of realizing the self by clearing his doubt regarding the birth, death. Also he gave the clear explanation on the Atma and the Deha, and he made him to understand the duty which is supposed to be done as a Kshatriya, also to control all his senses, to control his mind, to give up all the Kama, Krodha, Raga, Dvesha, all these bad qualities, and to reach the prasadam, attaining the peace. Also how the knowledge, having the stable knowledge, how to gain the wisdom, whose knowledge is ever established and firm. Likely tassa prajna pratisthita, likely many places Sri Krishna make him and realize about the importance of gaining knowledge. So in this, the Krishna winds up the Jnana Yoga. In the upcoming yoga, he discusses about the Karma Yoga. Dhanyavadaha, Namo Namaha.